In this video, we're taking a look at a recent trade that I did for mostly modern books for a Silver Age key. I traded the Silver Age key. A lot of people are going to call me crazy for that one. And we're also taking a look at a recent collection I just picked up that I paid $6,750. A really cool range and selection of books. Everything from an impressive Star Wars collection to sexy lady Marvel covers to one Silver Age book and a stack of mostly copper Marvel keys and a whole bunch of other books. A really cool set of books. Stay tuned.
Bry's Comics.
Make sure to go bookmark my next Whatnot show, Friday, January 13th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. We're having over 100 slabs. Everything starts at $1. There's going to be Silver Age keys. There're going to be Bronze Age keys, modern keys, and a whole bunch more. We're going to do 10 CGC slab giveaways. I'm bringing back the wheel for your chance at $500 in cash, and somebody is definitely going to spin the wheel. So I'm increasing the odds a little bit here. The way it's going to work is if you win 2 giveaways in the show, you get to spin the wheel. On that wheel is 9 premium slabs and 1 spot for $500 in cash. At the end of the show, everyone who bought something during the show is going to go on a separate wheel. We'll spin that. There will be one winner, and that person gets to spin the wheel no matter what. So if the $500 cash is still there, you'll have a shot at that. And if not, it'll be the rest of the premium slabs. So somebody's going to spin the wheel one way or another. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope to see you there. Don't forget, we also have a giveaway every single month here on the YouTube channel. If you subscribe, comment, and like, you're entered to win that. And if you head over to bryscomics.com and sign up for the newsletter, you're entered to win a 12-cent Fantastic Four book this month. Each and every month, there's a new slab. That's where you get first access to new collections like this one, mystery boxes, discount codes, and a whole bunch more. If you don't see the books in this video on the website, that means they're going directly to Whatnot. So a lot of the books in this video will be listed there. Use code COLLECT10 for 10% off. So a little background about this collection. This collection came from my friend Chris, and I believe Chris was just thinning the herd. I know he's not done collecting. I know that a lot of these books he had multiples of, and I think he's just doing a process of thinning the herd. And I think most of us, if you've been collecting for any length of time, have been there where you look down at your collection and you think, what am I doing here? Like, what's my theme? What's my direction? Do I really need, all of this slab? I always recommend that you establish your own selling platforms and, realize the most potential value you can get out of your collection is if you sell them yourself. I also realize that sometimes, selling hundreds of slabs, packing, listing, shipping, marketing, dealing with customer service, all of that is absolutely atrocious to a lot of people. And so if that's the case, I am buying at currently 60% of recent sales. That's what I consider fair market value. I consider fair market value to be what I can list the book at and expect it to sell. And so this collection was 109 slabs, and Chris reached out and he sent me a list he exported from Go Collect where he had fair market values listed for the books in Go Collect. And I looked up some of the values and they're just way off. And Go Collect FMV is always way off. It's either too high or too low. I think they use some kind of like rolling average or something to come up with a fair market value, but that's it's just never correct. In a bull market, it's too low, and in a bear market, it's too high, because I think they just take like a 90-day average or something like that to come up with the fair market value. Either way, if you're looking at sales from 90 days ago in a bear market where prices have plummeted in 90 days and that's impacting the fair market value, it just throws it way off, because sales from 90 days ago have no impact on the price of a comic book today in a bear market. If it flattens out, that would be fine, but when are we ever going to have 90 days of just stale flatness on the market? So cover price is the same way. Their fair market value is always way off. And so I can never use those to value a collection because it's not going to be anywhere near what I list and can expect to sell those books at. So what I normally do and didn't do in this situation is look up every single book at gpanalysis.com, which just collects, sales data from dozens of different websites, and take recent sales and look at what's available in the market and just, put what I would list the book for sell at and consider that the fair market value. But in this case, I was like, man, I really don't want to look up 109 different books. He has this number right here. So what I did is I looked up about 10 or 15 of the books and found how much off was Go Collect's number. And it was about 20% off. And that's actually about the same as cover price. I've noticed they're about 20% over what the actual, selling prices of these books are. So I said, okay, 10 or 15 books out of the 109, that's probably a good sample for this collection. And I'll just take take the total, take 20% off of that, and then do my normal 60% off of that. And so that total came to $6,750. And when I got the books in, I'm looking at these books, I'm going, this is $6,750 seemed a little bit high. And so I went and looked up some of the values, and Go Collect is way off, way off. In a lot of cases, it's like way more than 20% off. A lot of cases, it's like 60% off for some of these books that Go Collect was overvaluing them. And so in the long run, it's fine. It's no big deal. I'm definitely not going to lose money on this situation, but it was just a lesson learned. I just can't do that anymore. You have to put in the work. You have to look up every single book. Using averages and totals like that is super dangerous when you're dealing with, big dollar amounts. So it's no big deal. It is what it is. I really am trying to build my business on making the selling process as easy as possible for the seller. And so when things come up like this, or things come up like, a few of the slabs get cracked in transit, or a couple of the labels have the wrong, description on the label and they need to be reholdered, I try to just eat it, just make it as easy as possible. And that's the kind of reputation that I want to build. These collection purchases that I make all these videos on, they go super smoothly. Like I've never had a big problem ever. It's like the books come, there's minor issues here and there, but it's just books come, check them in within, an hour or two of me receiving the books, payment is sent. So if that's something that interests you, contact info down in the description, and let's hop into these books. All right, so here we go, guys. The collection in its entirety. This is a separate trade that I recently did that we're going to go over first. Here we have a really impressive Star Wars run. Here we have some Spider-Gwen sexy lady covers, and here we have some independent key issues over here. One Silver Age book, and then mostly copper Marvel keys, and then some other Marvel keys and cool covers over here. So here's a recent trade that I did, mostly CBCS modern books for a CGC Silver Age Grail. So I traded all of these books for Tales of Suspense 52 and a CGC 6.0, the first appearance of Black Widow. And, a lot of people will call me crazy to be able, first of all, to trade CBCS for CGC or to trade modern for silver, but it's all about the value. And when it's not for the personal collection and it's just a numbers thing, CBCS slabs have value, modern books have value, CGC books have value. So as long as the numbers line up, it's all good. So it could be a good opportunity for you to consolidate some of your modern into silver. Keep an eye on the site, and I can usually do trades for books over $1,000. The Tales of Suspense 52 Black Widow book was valued at around $1,200, and so I traded it for $1,350. I valued these at about $1,350 in value. So about a 10 to 20% increase for trade value is what I do for books, and it all depends on the books. It's very specific. For each trade is a little bit different. So here's Amazing Spider-Man number 4, the first appearance of Cindy Moon, who as Silk in a 9.6, Invincible Iron Man 9.98, first Riri, Black Panther 2, first appearance of Shuri in a CGC 9.6, the only CGC book in this trade, Amazing Spider-Man 252, Newsstand 9.6 white pages, now we're getting out of the modern era, 9.6 white Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars number 8, and then Submariner number 1 in a 6.0 CBCS. Some of these are definitely going to be brought to Whatnot for $1 starts. Now we're going to do Marvel modern keys, and then we're going to do Star Wars. So here's Amazing Spider-Man number 1, the first appearance of Cadaverous, Clayton Crane exclusive coverage signed by Clayton Crane in a 9.8. Secret Wars number 1, the Midtown Comics J. Scott Campbell edition. Secret Wars number 1, cover A, first cameo appearance of God Emperor Doom. This is a cool book I've never seen before. Edge of Venomverse number 2, the Stan Lee edition. Really cool to see this. Invincible Iron Man number 1, first cover appearance of Riri as Ironheart. Secret Warriors number 1, I think this is a great spec book, especially considering the prices on it today. First appearance of a new Secret Warriors team and the Rodriguez 1 in 25 variant. Shadowland Spider-Man number 1. There's a book I had never seen, a one-shot. Champions number 1, the Newberry Sketch edition. Silver Surfer Black number 1, the Yoon Sketch variant cover from Comic Mint. Doctor Strange and the Sorcerer Supreme #1, first full appearance of Nina the Conjurer, the Mindful One, and Kushala. I think this is a great spec book. I have a lot of faith in the character of Kushala. She keeps showing up in Marvel Comics. I'm reading the new Midnight Sun series, and she's part of the Midnight Suns team. So definitely potential for Kushala to have her day in the sun. What if Miles Morales #1? This is the Coelho variant cover. What if Miles Morales #2? The Bekele variant cover. What if Miles Morales #4, the variant edition? And here's a what if from 1981, 9/6 white. What if Captain America had been elected president? What if #32 in a 9/6 white. This one's cool because it says 27 different inkers, including Miller, Jansen, Simonson, Cockrum, and Byrne. 27 different inkers on this one title is really cool. What if #32? What if the Avengers had become pawns of Korvac? And what if Spider-Man the Other #1, 9.8 white, Leonardo da Vinci homage. Continuing with Marvel Amazing Spider-Man #4, first appearance of Cindy Moon as Silk. Free Comic Book Day 2020. An awesome cover by Ryan Stegman, and it's signed by Ryan Stegman and Donny Cates. This is the first full appearance of Virus with the whole COVID-19 debacle. Mighty Thor #705. This is the Stanley Artgerm Lau variant cover, and the death of Thor, Dr. Jane Foster. Thor #8, the Phantom 301 variant cover. Phantom Comics loves their ASM 300 and 301 homages. Thor #9, this is the Miko Suion Virgin Edition with the custom label. Absolutely gorgeous. Thor #1, Jane Foster becomes a new Thor. This is the Midtown Comics edition. And Thor #1 from 2018, this is the Care Andrews Virgin cover. Care Andrews has some incredible art, and you get to see a couple of them here. There's one for Thor 1, here's one for Tony Stark Iron Man #1, and here's one for Immortal Hulk #1. Really enjoy this art by Care Andrews. And I think one of the only DC books in the mix here is Joker #1, the Federici variant. All right, now we're gonna do this really impressive 2 stacks of Star Wars books, starting with Star Wars Heir to the Empire #1, 9.2 white pages, signed by Timothy Zahn. And this is the first comic book appearance of Mara Jade, Joruus C'baoth, and Grand Admiral Thrawn, based on the novel by Timothy Zahn. So it's really cool to have it signed by Timothy Zahn. Star Wars Heir to the Empire #2 in a 9.8 white, #3 in a 9.8 white, #4 in a 9.8 white, and #5 in a 9.8 white, and #6 in a 9.8 white. Moving on to Star Wars Mara Jade #1, we have a 9.6 white. It'd be really cool, I think, to get like a modern Star Wars book with an exclusive cover by Killian Plunkett. I really enjoyed this artwork by him. Star Wars Mara Jade #2 in a 9.8, #2 in a 9.4, #3 in a 9.4, #4 in a 9.8, and then we get into some other Star Wars titles. Star Wars Thrawn #2, 2 copies of that in 9.8, #4, and Star Wars The Clone Wars #2 from 2008, Dark Horse. Really cool to see this in a 9.8, Ashoka there on the cover. Classic Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back #1. This is a nice square bound book, so really cool to see that in a 9.8. Star Wars Shadow of the Empire #3 with a Hugh Fleming cover, #4, and #6. All right, a couple Star Wars High Republics here. High Republic #1, this is the variant edition, and the Hans variant cover. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic #42, Origin of Revan. Star Wars Tales of the Jedi #1, the first appearance of Ulic Qel-Drama, Kay Qel-Drama, and Arca Jeth. God, I hope I didn't butcher those. Star Wars Tales of the Jedi, the Sith War #1, Tales of the Jedi #1, Dark Lords of the Sith, and then we also have Star Wars Tales of the Jedi, Dark Lords of the Sith, the special Ashcan edition, black and white cover and interior. Cool to see both of those books together. Dark Horse Comics #7, 2 copies of this in a 9.8 with some awesome cover art, and it says beginning an all-new Star Wars adventure. Star Wars Jedi Academy Leviathan #1 from 1998 in Dark Horse. The Star Wars #1 from 2013, Dark Horse. This is the Things from Another World exclusive cover by Jenny Friesen. Very unique cover for Jenny Friesen. I don't think I've ever seen a cover that quite looks like this for Jenny. And it's based on George Lucas's original rough draft screenplay. It's really cool. Never seen that book. Star Wars Droids #1. This is a really cool embossed cover. Star Wars Dr. Aphra #1, first solo series for Dr. Aphra. Star Wars Boba Fett Overkill No Number from Dark Horse 2006. And Star Wars Boba Fett Murder Most Foul #3 from 1997. Star Wars X-Wing Rogue Squadron #1 from 1995, Dark Horse Comics. Star Wars 52 in a 9.8. This is the death of Colonel Nord and a Darth Vader appearance with an awesome Darth Vader cover. Incoming #1, this is the ultimate sexy lady cover. It's J. Scott Campbell 1 in 500 Women of Marvel variant featuring all these different ladies of Marvel. One of my favorite J. Scott Campbells. Silk #1 by Ji Hyung Lee. This is the 1 in 100 Virgin edition. Black Widow #3. This is the Campbell Glow in the Dark variant. So you can see there, it's really cool, like all these different red dot sites and stuff glow in the dark, which is really cool. Ultimates 2 #3. This is the 1 in 25 Stephanie Hans cover that is really difficult to find. First appearance of Logos. Awesome book. Black Cat #1. This is the Golden Apple Comics Campbell Edition B. Virgin Campbell. Awesome J. Scott Campbell Virgin cover. Domino #1. This is a J. Scott Campbell cover. I've never seen this before. It's an homage to Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. #4. And it's just really cool that it actually works. I'm really digging this J. Scott Campbell homage. Spider Women Alpha #1. King in Black, Gwenom vs. Carnage #1. This is the 1 in 25 In-Hyuk Lee variant cover. One of my favorite In-Hyuk Lee covers. Gwen Stacy #1, the J. Scott Campbell edition, signed by J. Scott Campbell. King in Black, Gwenom vs. Carnage #2. This is the J. Scott Campbell edition as well, also signed by J. Scott Campbell. Spider-Gwen #1, the 1 in 25 Anka variant. Spider-Gwen #1, the cover A, Robbie Rodriguez. Spider-Gwen Gwenverse #1, this is the Greg Land variant. Spider-Gwen Gwenverse #5, the David Nakayama cover. Spider-Gwen #19, this is the variant edition, bubblegum cover, hard to find Spider-Gwen book. Spider-Gwen 24, Venomized Villains, this is when Gwen Stacy becomes Gwenom. And Spider-Gwen #34, this is when Gwen Stacy technically becomes Spider-Gwen. It takes all the way until this issue, and it's also an homage to Edge of Spider-Verse #2. Starting off the independent books with a hard-to-find rare book, Skin Trade #1. It's limited to 350 copies. This one is signed by George R.R. Martin. Nice House on the Lake #1, Sanctum Sanctorum's edition. Something is Killing the Children #9. Something is Killing the Children #16. The first full appearance of Jessica Slaughter and the origin of Erica Slaughter begins. Twilight Zone in a 5.5. Might be worth just cracking this one out to read it, because I don't think it's worth much at a 5.5. But cool to see a 1990s Bill Sienkiewicz Twilight Zone #1. George R.R. Martin's A Game of Thrones #1 from Dynamite Entertainment in 2011. This is the negative edition. Sandman #4 in a 9.8. This is the first appearance of Lucifer Morningstar. Dune House Atreides #1 from Boom 2020. This is the 1 per store sketch edition. Shadecraft #4. This is a really cool Johnny Desjardins cover signed by Johnny. the Rabbits comic edition. Now for the silver and the mostly copper Marvel stuff. Here we have X-Men number 50, the second appearance of Polaris, and just this classic Jim Steranko cover. Uncanny X-Men 244, first appearance of Jubilee in a 9/8 white. Uncanny 282, first appearance of Bishop in a 9/8 white. 284 in a 9.8 white. X-Men number 8 from 1992, the first appearance of Belladonna Boudreaux. This one's interesting. They just put the wrong label on it. It does look like a 9.8, so I'm going to have to send this one back in to get reholdered because it says Spider-Man and the Secret Wars number 1, which is a title from 2010, but this is obviously Secret Wars 2 number 1 from 1985, so I'll have to send that one back in. Secret Wars 2 number 3, the first full appearance of the Beyonder in a 9/8 white, and Secret Wars number 1 in a 9.8 white. Rocket Raccoon number 1, 9/8 white. Rocket Raccoon number 3 was missing number 2. Otherwise, it's the full series here. So number 3 in a 9/8 white, number 4 in a 9/8 white. Wolverine number 10 in a 9.8 white pages. Just an awesome Sabretooth Wolverine battle cover. And Fantastic Four number 261 in a 9.8 white. So there you have it, guys. Once again, I hope to see you over on Whatnot next Friday, January 13th at 5 p.m. Pacific time for $1 starts on over 100 slabs, 10 CGC slab giveaways, a chance at $500 cash, and somebody is one way or another going to spin that wheel. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope to see you there. Don't forget, we also have the giveaway here on the YouTube channel. Subscribe, comment, and like, and you're entered to win a Clayton Crane Virgin Signature Series book this month. And head over to BryceComics.com, sign up for the newsletter for your chance to win another free slab and get first access to new collections like this one. Thank you as always for sticking with me to the end of the video. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.